We have some breaking news overnight. A plane carrying nearly 250 people crashed in India. Within the last half hour, we learned local stations are reporting the plane crashed on top of a medical college dining area. We do not know if there were any people inside that area at the time. This happened earlier this morning. Sources tell the Associated Press an Air India plane, which was a Boeing 787, crashed 5 minutes after takeoff. The plane was supposed to fly to London. The city's police commissioner says it appears there are no survivors, but they do not have any official numbers of deaths yet. We do know that 244 people were on board at the time. In a statement to the Associated Press, Boeing said, quote, "We are in contact with Air India regarding Flight 171 and stand ready to support them." They continued, "Our thoughts are with the passengers, crew, first responders, and all affected." Once we learn more information about this crash, we will update you right here on 9 News. We also reached out to Greg Feith, our aviation expert, to chat with him about what could have caused this right after takeoff. Once we get in touch with him, we will bring that to you here on 9 News and streaming on 9 News Plus. We could be just days away from Safeway and Albertsons employees going on strike. Workers say some of the problems they're facing have to do with staffing, wages, and benefits. Our Lauren Scafidi is joining us live now following the fallout this morning. And Lauren, this could start at midnight Saturday into Sunday.
Yeah, workers say that after months of bargaining, they felt like this was their only choice. They say the back and forth has been happening since last fall. They've wanted Safeway Albertsons to address staffing, what they call poverty-level wages, and making sure workers' health and pension benefits stay fully funded. They say the company refused to negotiate and compromise. So the countdown is on for a potential unfair labor strike. The reason a strike wouldn't happen right away, though, is because the extension agreement has a 72-hour notice requirement before it can be terminated. That notice was just given just before 7:30 last night. In Colorado, Safeway Albertsons workers from all over voted to authorize the strike by 99%. Now, important to note, though, the union has not announced a strike just yet. Coming up in the next hour on KTVD and streaming on 9 News Plus, I'll break down how the union hoped that Safeway Albertsons would have learned from King Soopers in their strike that lasted 10 days back in February. I did reach out to Safeway and Albertsons to see if we can get any sort of comment this morning, but I have not heard back. Live in Denver, Lauren Scafidi, 9 News.
A lot going on with our local grocery stores, that's for sure. Lauren, thank you. This morning, we continue to follow the protests happening nationwide over the Trump administration's mass deportations. In Washington state, Seattle police deployed flashbangs after a firework was thrown into a group of officers. On the other side of the country in Raleigh, North Carolina, thousands gathered in downtown yesterday, blocking off several streets.
Meanwhile, in L.A., areas of downtown just lifted their second night of curfews. Last night, police were seen arresting several people ahead of the 8 p.m. curfew. Around 20 to 30 people were arrested. Police were also seen using rubber bullets to disperse crowds.
Later today, a judge will hear California's request to temporarily block Trump from using Marines and the National Guard to enforce laws in the state. The state of California and Governor Gavin Newsom filed a lawsuit on Monday challenging President Trump's move. According to the New York Times, they say the federal government cannot use military troops for law enforcement inside the country. That is because of a law from the 1800s called the Posse Comitatus Act. Under the act, it says you can't use the military like police inside the U.S. unless the president officially invokes the Insurrection Act, which is rarely used. But the DOJ disagrees with the state's department, saying the troops are backing up law enforcement, not acting as police themselves.
City leaders in Denver are begging for anti-Trump protests to stay calm and peaceful for fear that the president will send the military into the streets here. Hundreds of people gathered outside the state capitol Tuesday night to protest ICE and march in solidarity with protesters in L.A. When a group of protesters shut down Broadway and moved toward I-25, police started using pepper balls to break up the crowd. We know of 18 arrests, charges including obstructing streets, failing to obey police orders, spraying graffiti, and throwing projectiles. 2 people were charged with assault, and police reports say that at least 1 person was injured after they were hit with a skateboard. The mayor of Denver says that any violence could attract unwanted attention from the federal government.
If folks here are trying to advocate to protect migrants in this city, the worst thing you could do for those folks is to try to attract the president and the federal National Guard to come to your city. That doesn't help any of us.
Tuesday night's protest was organized by several different groups like the Party for Socialism and Liberation, which was active during the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests. This weekend, a national day of protest is being put on by a different group called No Kings. While some of the same people may be there, the protests are organized by 2 totally separate groups.
This morning, and Castle Rock police are urging you to move over or slow down for emergency vehicles after one of their patrol cars was hit Tuesday night. Police say the car had its emergency lights activated when someone struck it from behind on I-25. Thankfully, the officer was not in the car at the time. Police say the other car caught fire, but no one was seriously hurt. A reminder, state law requires you to move at least one lane over when passing any stopped vehicle. And if you can't safely do that, you must slow down. If you don't, you could get a misdemeanor that includes a fine of up to $150.
New at 7 o'clock, Lakewood is one of over 100 cities in the world to be given an A grade by the Carbon Disclosure Project. This was first reported by our news partners at the Denver Gazette. This is the second year in a row and fourth time overall that Lakewood has earned the rating. To be placed on the A list, a city must publicly disclose its climate-based efforts through the CDP's climate reporting platform. They also have to meet certain criteria like having a citywide emissions inventory and a published climate action plan. Of the 112 cities and counties on CDP's A list, 92 are here in the United States. Other Colorado areas that made the list alongside Lakewood are Aspen, Boulder, Denver, and Fort Collins.
A Denver-based aerospace company just had its stock market debut and saw its value skyrocket. Voyager Technologies is the majority owner of Starlab. It's a project that aims to replace the International Space Station in a few years. The International Space Station could be decommissioned in 2030, and the Starlab venture is targeting the launch of its station in 2029. Voyager Tech generated more than $380 million in its initial public offering. That number beat the company's best expectations for the IPO by more than $60 million.